Okay, so getting ready to cut out the inner fender wells on this thing. They're kind of rusty anyway, but we're dropping this car so far that there's nothing on the inner fender wells we're going to use. We're going to make nice new ones when we're done. It'll wrap around the axle. So we're going to knock these things out, and then we got to get mocked up with the rear end and see where we want the frame, how high we need the frame. Right now we're waiting on steel for the frame, so hopefully for the next couple of days we'll get our steel for that. Then we can get back on the frame. But honestly, until we get the height of the tire and the rear end set up where we need it, then we can't even build a frame. So we got to get that all figured out now. So we're going to knock these things out real quick and then see what we got from there. Okay, so we got that all cut out. Pretty rusty underneath, but really doesn't matter. We're cutting most of this stuff out anyway, so take a look. We didn't do nothing fancy. We didn't mark anything before we cut it, because all of this is getting cut out anyway. I just needed some clearance so we could mock up a rear end and stuff. But as you can see here, it's all been rusted through, but that's leaving, so we didn't care about that. So over here, somebody had put a patch panel in this wheel well at one time, and they just, of course, just doubled it right over top of the other one. There's the old one. This was over here. That was directly over top of the old one, and so, you know, someone didn't quite do that right, but whatever. We're not using them anyway. Like I said, we're gonna make all new ones for it, but same thing on this side. It's pretty rusty down here. Other than that, the car seems really solid, but you know how this goes with the wheel wells. All the garbage lays in there and rusts it out. So that's where we're at. Well, let me show you what I'm working on here. Just kind of feeling everything out. So basically, the car is going to be so low, the axle the center line of the axle is right here, 17.5 inches off of our table. This is the height I want the car when we drop the air out of the bags and set on the ground. I want the body a 1/2 inch off the ground. I want the frame to hit 1/2 inch before the body is. We don't want to smash the body up. So thinking I want to run a 34-inch tall tire on the back. So that puts us at half of that, 17.5, right to the center of our axle. So the top of the axle is going to be at 19 inches. So we're going to have a circle right here. That's going to be our axle. I should have drew a circle on her. A little easier to see. But anyway, most guys would, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't want to do it on this car. You would typically take and just do a U out here in the body. You know, fill that in with a piece of steel and stuff, make it look nice. And there's nothing wrong with that. But on this car, I feel like I would do that on a sedan. I really don't want to do it on the coupe because there's nothing up here to really hide that. I feel like you're going to really see that, and I don't want to. So what I'm thinking is I don't want to cut through this body line right here. Under the paper, there's a body line right here. I don't want to cut through that. I want to keep that going. So I'm thinking what I'm going to have to do on this is start cutting this out across here and then swoop this up, come down, cross in here, and then we're going to slide this up under the next piece. But this bottom of this body line has to be up here at this 20-inch mark in order for us to clear this axle housing. So we literally have to move the bottom of this. Can't be no lower than the top of that line. or we're going to hit the body with the axle at full drop. So I figured to put the piece of paper on there. You can see I've kind of went like this with my body lines and dirtied out your body lines so you can see them through the paper, so you really know what you're looking at. It's not precision at all, but we're just looking right now. So kind of an easy way to kind of set up what you're doing. You don't want to go cutting into this body. I paid a lot of money for this body. They're getting hard to find anymore, and you don't want to go cut into that and realize you made a mistake and it can't be fixed. So we're probably going to end up cutting this piece of paper where I think it needs to be, and then we'll see what it looks like. A whole lot cheaper than cutting a body panel out, and I don't even think they make this for the 30 Model 8s anymore. I think they do some 32 stuff, but I don't think any of the 30s and 31s, I don't think they make that panel. So if I mess it up, I can't even replace it. So we're gonna, and I'm no expert sheet metal guy. I am very new to sheet metal work, so we'll see how this works out. Well, let me show you what I got going on here. So the paper template, you know, I was going to try to cut that out and see what we had. Well, here's what we got. We got a little more issue than I seen before we cut the paper, but that's why we do the paper. So this is what we cut out. I know it's kind of hard to see, but cut this section out, and we have to raise this line. This is our bead down here, so we have to raise this up to the top of this. And what we ran into was I don't have enough room back here. We're gonna really open up our wheel well gaps by doing that. Same on the front. We're gonna open the wheel well gaps up. I don't really want to do that. These wheel well gaps are already pretty wide. Even with a 34-inch tire, we don't completely cover the wheel well gap here and here. So if we make them wider, that's it's not gonna look right. And at the back, we don't have any room to make it wider. We're already at the end of the car, so if we try to make that wider, it's going to be clear out here. It's going to look kind of silly. So what I'm thinking is, if you look at this wheel well gap, it's pretty, you know, it's pretty contoured right here, pretty nice even contour. But as you get to about right here, I don't know if you probably can't tell on the camera, but as you get to about right here, this contour starts to straighten out, and it elongates out here, runs the wheel well up. Same thing with the back. It's nice contour, round, 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 and about right here starts to straighten up, and it elongates out to the rear. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to try to make a die to make this bead. We're going to try to hammer this out. You know, something we've seen Carl Fisher has showed you how to do it. Make it custom. If you haven't looked him up, look him up. The guy's pretty amazing and really explains stuff well. YouTube, you know, go check him out. Pretty awesome. Anyway, he showed us how to do this. So I've never done it before, but we're going to give it a shot, because I feel like we can use this upper section of this wheel well, and if we can make a beading die and it works out, then we'll make a new bead from here and keep this same contour coming down, and we should end up right about in here. Even lifting this up, we still should come out around the same area, so we won't be stretching out the wheel well on the bottom no more than it is now. And we may even be able to draw it in a little bit more to make it look better. So that's our next step, and here's kind of how we're going to get started. So we got our contour gauge here. We're going to take the contour gauge, and I've already done it, you can see it. Put it right on here, see what our contour is. See how it fits in there really nice. So there's that's going to be one of our dies, is going to be that contour, and the other die will be the inside. So we'll have two dies. One die will look like that, one die is going to look like this, and we're going to put them together, and we're going to try to make this part, I don't know, we're going to give her a shot, and let me see what I can figure out, and we'll show you what we come up with. Alright, so found a piece of 1/4 inch scrap steel we had laying around. We're going to try to make these dies up, and so here you see our contour gauge, which I just showed you a minute ago. So here's what we're going to do. Piece of 1/4 inch steel. I'm going to try to set this camera down so you guys can see. Alright, 1/4 inch steel plate, just a scrap piece, doesn't have to be nothing fancy. Nice that it has a straight edge on one side though, so this side's all crooked, but this side's square and straight, so that'll make things a little simpler for us. So what we're going to do, we're going to mark this across here. Just gonna try to follow it pretty close. When we cut it out, we're gonna take some time to try to get it nice and perfect, and the two really need to fit together nicely. So there's the one side. Same thing on this one. It's just going to be the opposite. We're going to trace it out. It's not real picky on where it's at, but we got a little piece stuck up there. There we go. All right. So now we pretty much got to chase that down. We're going to use we'll do a cutoff wheel to get the majority of this off. All that will get taken off with a cutoff wheel. Then we'll come in with a die grinder, and we will chase this line down with a die grinder and get them two pretty close. I won't go clear down the line, and then we'll start putting the two together. When we start putting the two together, then we're going to have to fine tune it with a die grinder. That's going to take a little patience, but I think we can figure it out. If not, we'll start over and do it again.